Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys enjoyed the Let's React to It videos. Hope you guys have been enjoying those. Um, I wanted to do a topic video today because there's nothing really big. We'll have a few movie reviews coming out in the next couple of days, but before anybody asks, I'm not really interested to see the new Ghostbusters movie, so I'm probably going to skip out on that. I just have no desire to watch it. Um, so we'll be doing some other reviews though. Like we'll definitely review King Richard and some other films and stuff. So look out for those reviews when they come out. But I wanted to do a topic video because there's a topic that's been going around for a couple of years now that um, it's an interesting one, which is in regards to the superhero genre. It's a you know the current uh, outlook of it, like people's views on it, and if the genre is thriving, if it's becoming redundant, like all those sort of things. And a lot to do with the responses from a lot of auteurs. Martin Scorsese, most famously. Uh, but most recently, we've been getting some other ones. Like we got one from Ridley Scott. We got one from Jane Campion, who's uh, getting some Oscar buzz for a film called The Power of the Dog, which I have yet to see yet. Heard some good things about it. The trailer looked okay. What I'm really excited about is Johnny Greenwood. I'm really excited that he's doing the score for that because I loved his work in Spencer, Phantom Thread. Just he's a wonderful composer. Um, but they've all been coming out. Francis Ford Coppola also, when Scorsese made his comments. Um, so there's a lot of hate towards this genre from a lot of veterans in this business, and kind of wanted to give my two cents on the genre itself, and just my thoughts on just those comments on the filmmakers. Uh, so where to start? Let me give my thoughts on those comments. I don't have the exact quotes, but I think that Ridley Scott said something along the lines as that it's boring and that it's he was like comparing his work at some point, like saying like Alien and Blade Runner or like superhero type films. Kind of a weird thing to do, kind of an egotistical thing in my opinion to, like, well, my work are superhero movies. That's not superhero. It's kind of, kind of was in poor taste for me hearing that type of stuff from Ridley Scott. Um, he's been really vocal lately, just in general. Like he was not very happy with the box office. By the way, sorry if you hear noise outside. Um, but he wasn't really all that happy with the box office take for The Last Duel. He wasn't really happy with the success that came from that. Um, and reviews for House of Gucci have been okay. They have not been great. I don't know if I'm gonna go out and see that. Um, I might. I don't know. It's 2.5 hours long. Um, that concerns me for that type of film. It seems like it's going to be his Irishman, or at least it's trying to be his like Ridley Scott's Irishman. Um, but yeah, his comments were. I mean, here's the one. Here's the thing that I can say about all their comments. They're valid, because it's their opinion and they're allowed to give out their opinion, and we should just be respectful towards it. I know that the superhero community or the fanboys are just losing their minds. They're probably just like, how dare they, speak ill on this genre, and they haven't done any great work and stuff. We're talking about some of the greatest filmmakers of all time here. We're talking about Scorsese. We're talking about Ridley Scott. We're talking about Francis Ford Coppola. It's like these guys have proven their worth and they've proven themselves, so they don't have to, you know, they're not being hypocritical or anything when they make these types of comments. They have proven themselves time and time again to be amazing filmmakers, and also even if they weren't successful, they are allowed to make an opinion. They're allowed to state whatever they want. Um, about a genre or a movie or anything, because I never get that. I know there's like NDAs and You have to, you're signing agreements and you have to speak positively on certain things. I understand. Um, which is why I don't buy into any of the interviews and stuff that when actors and stuff say such and such about a movie because they're under NDA. I know this because I had to sign an NDA for something at one point. Um, I understand you know, the how do I say it? The restrictions. There are a lot of restrictions to uh, to working on films, especially when you are done and you have to go to if you ever do like press junkets or anything. Like I get the uh, the restrictions that come with them. Um, so, uh, but for somebody like a Scorsese or a Coppola, they've been in the business for long enough, and I don't think that they're under any form of contractual agreements to where they have to, you know, they they're they themselves don't need to be restricted. They don't have to be because they're people that studios would kill to have. So they don't have to be under any NDAs or anything, so they can say whatever they want. Um, uh, so when they say what they say, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. First of all, to the superhero genre anyway. Like it's I don't know why people take these comments so seriously. Like how could you say that about Marvel Studios? It's not like the studio's gonna fold. It's like, oh, we're done making movies now because Scorsese said our movies suck, or not cinema. Um, no, they're gonna continue making movies, and it's not like they're like I don't know. There's such a sensitivity surrounding the superhero community. Like you can't speak ill on the superhero community, like in a manner that's direct, because I've always seen people like, oh, if we, superhero genre is okay, or so, like they articulate it in a way where it sounds positive, instead of just being straight honest and just, however it sounds, it's whatever. Like if it's negative, then it's negative, you know. Um, like people don't like to hear the negativity, which is really ignorant in my opinion. Um, so so that's my first point. I think that we shouldn't take the comments made by these filmmakers, that seriously. It's an opinion. I mean, they're not, they don't hold any merit. They're just opinions, people. But for some reason, the community just takes it super seriously. They take it like. I also get it. It's good for headlines. Like we're talking about some of the greatest filmmakers of all time, so I get it. It's good headlines. It's good journalistic, like juicy bits. Journalists are like just like, ooh, this is gonna be great for my publication. Like, I get it. Um, but in terms of just reality and just looking at it straight face, it's nothing. I mean, it's just a person's opinion. Now, the second thing I want to bring up is, are they right? Are they right? Are their comments like, do they? How do I feel about their comments? Can I relate to those comments? Yes and no. Um, on certain ones, like if you look at Scorsese's comments, he says they're not cinema. Um, Now I understand how he means by it. He doesn't mean the literal definition. Like, I mean, yes, the superhero films are cinema. Like within the context of what cinema is, that it they just if they were to fit in a category, yes, they are cinema because they are stories that are built within the identity of cinematic language. So yes, they are pieces of cinema. But what I think he's talking about is the artistic side of things, and that's where I kind of agree, because Scorsese made a very great analogy when it came to superhero films, which is that they're theme park attractions, and they absolutely are. I mean, they you're there for the rush. Um, you're not really there for the characters or anything like that. You're there just for the visual and the rush of feelings. That's just kind of how you walk into superhero films for. Um, you're just there for you're just there for an experience. You're not there for a story or for a particular actor, a particular performance, or a particular thing. You're just there for the visual splash. You know. That's like the thing that we love so much about the Avengers films. What is there? The scene that everyone talks about the most in Avengers Endgame is the third act is when all the Avengers come together. The reason why everyone talks about that is because it's a visual splash. It has all these people together, and just it's a big visual extravaganza. That's why people flock to those movies a lot. It's because it just looks really cool. But in terms of what it's saying, it's not saying too much. Um, and I think that's what Scorsese is kind of referring to, is that those movies are, I wouldn't say they're one dimensional, but they're repetitive, you know? And that's where I agree with Scorsese, that they lack that artistic vision that a lot of other films actually have. Um, and I know people like to bring up, oh, Scorsese was going to produce Joker, so he's a hypocrite. Um, I would back up on that, but the where I stand with Scorsese is that I don't. I think Scorsese was envisioning this to be something very different. But when Todd Phillips came on board and he wrote his script, I think that's when he decided to step away, because he wasn't the scene where Todd Phillips was going with the story. Sure, the Joker is like, in terms of like comic book films, the films that I think that actually operate more as films than anything else. Dark Knight, Logan, Joker, those three films, I would say, they're acting as movies. They're not just acting like superhero things. They're acting like films. Um, with stories, with emotions, with more than one dimensions to them. Um, like there's layers, to the Dark Knight. There's layers to Logan. There's layers to Joker. Even though, like like I don't love Joker as much as everyone else does, but I appreciate the efforts of them, branching out of the familiarities. Um, so um, so I think that what Scorsese was envisioning for Joker, just whatever Todd Phillips brought to it, Scorsese just probably just didn't like it, and he stepped away. And good on him for being able to just stay true to his beliefs. I would hate for a director um, to just fall in line. I hate when directors do that. A lot of filmmakers do that nowadays, where they just kind of fall in line. Like, look at Chloe Zhao. Like, she goes from doing Nomadland, which, even though I didn't love it, it's still more unique than a lot of blockbusters that we have today. Um, and then she goes off and does Eternals, and it is nothing like a Chloe Zhao movie. It is your typical Marvel film, um, that I acknowledge is a little bit better than other MCU movies, but it's still the same Marvel fest that we've had for years. Um, like, I just hate when filmmakers just kind of surrender, and that's what I mean when I say, like, when you hear like these big names get attached to blockbuster projects, like Ryan Johnson being a part of that Star Wars film. Um, it's like announcements like that. Patty Jenkins with Star Wars now. Announcements like that, they don't really mean much, because the creativity is kind of left outside. Like, we're hearing reports that Patty Jenkins is not even um, like, is having trouble with Rogue Squadron, because the studio's kind of interfering. They're having creative differences. So your creativity does not exist when it comes to blockbuster work. So I think that's more so in superhero films. So again, that's where I back up on Scorsese again, because cinema to me is expressive, and when you're not being allowed to be expressive, then what you're creating is not cinema. You're creating a product. So um, so so I get where Scorsese's coming from. Then you go to like Ridley Scott, and Ridley Scott says, I think he said like they're boring films. Like they're very boring. They're and all this stuff. I wouldn't say they're boring. I mean, I never was bored watching an MCU movie, but I was never I was never like impressed either. And then you get to Jane Campion, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. And I believe she said like she just straight up hates them, you know. And she made a good comparison. Like she compared it to like pantomiming, which I thought was an interesting comparison because I think that also is a because I think that's also very fitting because um, again, when you think of superhero projects, you, at least to me anyway, when I think of them, you're there for the you're there for the show. You're not there for the person. You're not there to see the characters. You're not there to watch people. You're there to see a splooge of visuals pop up on screen, or to see uh, a certain stick, you know, like pantomiming. When you watch a pantomime, you're just there just to see them do these funny little bits, like a Chaplin type of deal. Um, Same thing for like Charlie Chaplin films. Like you just go watch a Charlie Chaplin film, and the thing you go watch a Charlie Chaplin film for is for all his little whimsical physical things. Same thing with Buster Keaton. Like like superhero films are like in a way like Chaplin, because they are just they're all about just the they're there to entertain in a very straightforward face value way. And those means are through their visuals, all those flashy visuals and heroes punching each other and stuff. Back then with Chaplin and Keaton, it was about all the flying around and them getting hit by stuff and all those the hiding and stuff you know like uh like the superhero films. What I'm saying is like kind of like a modern Charlie a modern day Charlie Chaplin, except the difference is that I am more entertained by a Charlie Chaplin film than a superhero film because I think they've Charlie Chaplin films have like this um they have this um there's more merit to them, there's more purpose to them. With superhero films, it feels like we're chugging out products nowadays. Like Charlie Chaplin films, yeah, they're again, you're following the same guy a lot of times, but your your uh, your emotional state is um, I would say is more there than a superhero film. That's just me. Um, Also, there's so much you have to do to watch a superhero film nowadays. Like, I have to like read up on comic books. I have to research certain characters. I have to um, figure out how this ties into the whole series. Like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to watch these movies. Um, Versus going to something like Spencer, where I don't know anything about Princess Diana. The movie itself doesn't is admitting that it doesn't know anything about Princess Diana, and we're just watching a story unfold. Um, you know, I don't need to have any there's no precursor or any thing where I have to you know understand this movie. Like when Hawkeye comes out next week, you kind of need to watch Black Widow because there's stuff in Black Widow that affects Hawkeye. You know what I mean? Like you have to have watched a bunch of things or know a lot of things to understand the thing you're watching right now. So, um, so I can understand where these filmmakers are coming from, and also just a little thing. I mean, no one wants to say it. I'll say it. They're really old, like real old. So their generation did not have superhero movies. Their superhero movies started to boom in the 80s. Or in the 70s if you kind of the late 70s. With the first with Christopher Reeve's Superman, because Adam West's Batman it was something for the superhero genre. It was one of the earliest booms, but it wasn't a huge um, it wasn't as how do you say it? It didn't dominate the media. You know what I'm saying? It didn't dominate our entertainment industry. It's only until we got to the 80s when we started to see superhero films, mainly Batman films, start to take a bigger presence. And then we get to the early 2000s with the X-Men, and then we get to with Iron Man, and then we eventually come here, you know. Um, so with Scorsese and a lot of those other filmmakers, Ridley Scott and Francis Ford Coppola, their time was the 70s. you know, so their time was very different in terms of the landscape for film. Because in the 70s, it was just like it was about like 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 gangsters, you know, like the gangster genre and like certain like horror was also pretty big in the 70s. Like, you know, there was a change, you know, in the 80s, you know, and that change, um, some people some people adapted to, and people like Scorsese and others just don't really fancy too much, you know, and find that it's an issue within their industry, which I don't think it is. I think that it's the issue is in terms of just freedom for the people who are making those movies. I think that they should be able to do whatever they want, and they should be able to make whatever movie they want to make, and no rules, no universe. You know that I don't like to think that I have to watch 20 movies to understand this movie popping up next. I don't like that. I like to I like just standalone projects. You know, like that's just what I appeal to more than seeing a whole genre or seeing a whole universe. Save that for like television or something. Don't for movies. Yeah, you could do a universe if you want to, but I don't know. I just don't fancy franchises as much as I used to. Um, like that's why I don't really feel like watching the new Ghostbusters movie because I don't know. I just don't have like a care to go see the Ghostbusters 3 essentially. I just don't really have a care to see it. Um, so so I can kind of get where these filmmakers are coming from. They just I guess you have to remember they're older, so their generation did not comprise of superhero projects. It was mainly crime films, gangster films. That's when like The Godfather was coming out, and then like Rick Coppola, and it was also like drama and horror was a big aspect. That's when we had The Exorcist. So there were different genres that were dominating the 70s, mostly horror films. Then you get to the 80s, and then it was like a, a mixture of certain genres. The superhero genre was starting to creep in a little bit. The 90s saw it come up a little bit more. You had like other ones out there like Spawn. You had like a Captain America film at one point. And then you get to the 2000s era, and that's when you started seeing superhero films become a lot more um, interesting to investors and stuff. And then 2012, the Avengers hit, and it was a huge success. And then everything changes at that point. Now the superhero films are the horror films of the 70s. We we have like what horror was in the 70s is what superhero films are now. So um, it's just it's what everyone loves now. So um, and it's totally fine for them to not like the genre. In some respects, I agree with them. I think it's repetitive. I think that it can get boring. Like I said, I don't like that I have to watch like 20 movies to understand another piece from this franchise. Like, I love it when it's just standalone, like a Logan, a Dark Knight, a Joker. Um, I get more attached to those projects because I can invest into it in a 2 hour period and get everything that I need. I don't like that I have to watch like 20 things to understand Hawkeye, you know, or you know, the freaking Spider-Man movie that's coming out. I feel like I got to go watch like a bunch of films to understand this one thing. So, um, so I get it. I get why Scorsese and Coppola and all those other guys. I can understand why they're a little frustrated and why why they probably why they find the genre to be a bit how should I say it, a bit too much. So I can totally understand. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that they're right? I think that they're partially right in some respects. I don't hate these movies. I'm slightly hypocritical because I will go see these movies and I will be reviewing these the Hawkeye show and all that stuff. But I don't know. I think that their comments are not as um, divisive as I'm pretty sure the community makes them out to be. I think they actually I think that they actually have some very valid points within those within some of their statements. So like the pantomiming thing, I thought was a great analogy from Jane Jane. So yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the this topic. Do you guys think that directors are right about superheroes? Do you think this genre is just becoming a bit redundant, a bit repetitive, or do you just love the genre in general? You guys let me know. So I think it is getting a little repetitive and redundant. I want more movies like Joker. Something like Eternals. Like I said, I thought Eternals was a nice step towards something different. And I want more movies like that in the MCU. More something like the Eternals where it's trying to do something different. I don't want to see another Shang-Chi or another Black Widow. I want to see something different. It's like Loki and Eternals. Those are the two things that I've been enjoying from this new phase of Marvel movies. So I hope that they do more of that in the future versus bathing in the same formula all the time. So that I can understand when it comes to the filmmakers when they have you know with their issues. Um, so hopefully that might happen in the future. Uh, but you guys let me know. Do you guys want a new direction for superhero films? Do you guys think again they're redundant, repetitive? And do you guys agree with these directors' comments? And you know, just let me know your guys' thoughts. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Next video, I'm probably gonna do a movie review. I'm not sure which one. Uh, maybe Clifford, or maybe I'll do that Home Alone movie. You guys, I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of a masochist. I feel like I feel like watching that Home Alone movie and just seeing how bad it was. Because I've heard some really bad things about it, and I saw a small bit of it, and I just was rolling my eyes. So you guys let me know. What do you guys want to see as the next movie review? I'll let you guys decide. If you guys, you know, chime in. If not, I'll just pick. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys next time. I'm a little tired, if you guys can tell. So I'm probably gonna take a nap or something. But hopefully my thoughts made sense. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.